A great friend of mine gifted me discounts on Mixed Media Sketchbook a couple of years ago now. It's a little too big to fit in my backpack, so it had been pushed to the side in favor of some smaller notebooks that I had made for whenever I attended an outing with the local urban sketchers group. But last week, I finally had a vision. A series of paintings that I explicitly wanted to make at home, so the space constrained on my backpack didn't matter anymore. And this sketchbook was practically made for this idea. If you've been following my art for a while, you probably have noticed that my favorite color may or may not be red mixed with neon pink. I've been experimenting with yellow a little bit this year, but I really wanted to go back to my beloved this time. As you can see here, I had gotten the days prior a makeup thingy that I wanted to try to use as a paint palette for when I paint outside, as I can't always sit or find a place to set down my things. I still can't give you a verdict on how easy it is to clean, but so far it has been very useful when painting, and I'm very happy with it. Now, going back to our little friend, the painting. What am I painting even, you might ask? Well, the person that gave me this sketchbook is also someone I'm playing a D&D campaign with at the moment, and we are using Minecraft as our game board. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but something I like a lot is the screenshots that everyone has taken. The screenshot I was referencing in specific for this painting was a pretty wide one that showed basically the whole side of the island. But in this case, I only wanted to frame 3 specific things: a boat that had crashed, the border of the island, and the sea. I thought I'd get into the groove by first doing the clouds, which I had to improvise, but in the end I ended up covering them as they didn't fit the ambience that I wanted for this painting. Following this, I started using green to carve off the foliage and grass on this neon block where the island was going to go. I like to think that the way in which I paint is somewhat like sculpting, but in 2D, sort of as how Impressionism works, though I'm not sure if this one would count as Impressionism. Later on, I'll jump between the colors more, but as of now, I just wanted to do a general pass, blocking out the big areas of materials like stone and diorite, and I try to work one color at a time. The lighter color of the diorite would sometimes make it look like I was painting the light on the stone, but defining the lights and shadows would come later. Once the color of each of the areas had been blocked, I moved on to the specific focal points, like the boat. Just like with the background, I first defined the main colors of the items, the wood and the wool, using brown and beige. I did want to make the cubes obvious, but my intention was never to make them mathematically perfect, as I still wanted them to have an organic feeling, to put it that way. With the first pass done, I could now go into a phase of shaping, my favorite part. Every now and then I feel intimidated by the next step of the painting, so I identified the edge of the water to be the one that would bring more of a visual change with less work, which I could then use as a well of determination by looking at it and how it transformed the painting if and when I felt discouraged by the other areas. Similarly to how one quickly turns on and off the layer of the sketch and the work in progress when doing digital art in order to gain motivation, like that. After which I started to work in the shadows, all of them mixed to some degree with the neon pink and red that still lurked in the background of the background. I then added some more detail with some moss patches that I have overlooked and defining some blocks in the side of the mountain that was getting sunlight with shadows. I then went over the birch trees once more in order to rescue them from the background. I added some details and then wrapped everything up by returning once again to the sea to add some shadows to the reflections and some more highlights. By this point, the boat was getting a bit too lost in the shade of the cliff behind it, so I chose to outline it in a bit of a darker brown, still something I wanted to keep very minimal. I then added some sparkles in what I tried to make look like 4 little pixels as a wink of the pixelated nature of the source material. And then it was done. If you are interested in getting a screenshot you hold dear painted traditionally in my style, I have a link on the description to my vision commissions if you want to check it out. And if you like this painting, I've made this design available on my Redbubble on products like prints, stickers, phone cases, and more. Also linked in the description. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you like how the painting came out.